Hi guys, welcome to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Jennifer. You can also call me Jen. I do hope that you stick around, but more than anything, please guys don't forget to give this video a thumbs up as you go through the video if you like the content that I'm sharing. So today we're going to be comparing two apps which I love both. I do not hate one over the other. However, I do think that these apps were created for two different people. They are serving two different markets or two different personalities of people, and so I just wanted to share my little bit of knowledge about the apps and also who are these apps made for, and also at the end share with you which one do I prefer. So which apps am I talking about? I'm talking about EasyEquities and also Franc investing app. So they call it Franc app, not Franc investing app. It's Franc app. And so just getting straight to the point, firstly, let me just bring some light in both of these apps, just in case you are not clued up on what these apps are for or what they do. Firstly, EasyEquities and Franc are basically DIY investing platform. So they are not the traditional way of investing. So instead of taking your money to the bank and actually entrusting them to invest it for you in the market, in the JSE market, you actually do it yourself. So you go in there, you actually decide where your money must go. However, that is where the difference comes from when it comes to EasyEquities and Franc. And I feel that those differences separates them, and it doesn't make the other weak from the other. However, it does then make it clear who is the other app for and who is the other app for. And so I'm going to share that along in this video. So I think you guys get an idea. It's an investing app, so you can invest in the JSE market. They kind of give you a good picture of what is happening with your investment. So normally when you take your money and put it in the bank, and then they will take and invest it for you, what you don't know is you don't know where they are putting your money. That's the first thing. Secondly, you don't know how your money is working for you. You don't really get a full view of how your money is working for you. So what I love about these DIY apps is that you actually get a full view of how your money is working for you. And so I am going to dive into actually these two apps and compare them both for you, and you can decide which route do you want to go into based on your personality and which one fits your needs. Now, however, I must mention this: you can have two apps at the same time. You can invest on two apps at the same time. I'm actually invested in both apps as we speak. However, one is higher than the other and one is lower when it comes to my investing, and I'm going to share that with you. Why is that the case when it comes to setting up both of these accounts? So let's start with EasyEquities. EasyEquities, you have to have an email, you have to create a profile. So basically they will need your email, your password, and then once you're in there, you then have to go through the process of verification. So that's when you have to attach your ID document and all this other stuff that they might ask of you, but it is very simple, straightforward. Franc also, when it comes to setting up your account, you need an email address, and then you create a password, and then once you are in there, you then create a profile. So different from EasyEquities, where after you've done that, you have to verify your account and then you're good to go. But with Franc is once you've created your account, so you've put in your email, you've put in your password. Now these are your login details. Then what you have to do after now is, so the next step for you to start actually investing is that you have to create a profile. So the profile is based on you, your personality, and your risk appetite. And so you have to go through that journey of actually creating that profile. So they will ask you questions in terms of your risk appetite. What are you comfortable with? So that they can kind of gauge what type of a person you are and which category will work for you. And also, while you're creating that profile, where for you to start investing is they'll ask you to select a goal. So how Franc works is they have a list of goals there, like education, I think a car, education, buying a house. It's just a lot of goals that are there. So you choose, or emergency fund is also there. So you choose which goal you want to invest towards. I think that is very important. Just remember when I say you choose which goal you want to invest towards. So you will select if you want to invest towards an emergency fund, if you want to invest towards education, invest towards buying your house and all that stuff. There's a lot of goals that are there. You choose, and then You can then decide how much do you want to have by the end of by that time, or how much are you willing to invest monthly. And then they will calculate for you. If you want to invest monthly, they will tell you that, okay, by this time, you're going to have this much. If you have a goal, target amount, they'll break it down that from now to the time, how much you will need to invest on a monthly basis, whatever that it would suit you, So they give you that option. So you kind of get a good idea of, okay, going from here, we're going here, So once you've created a profile, once you've created the goal and everything, then you move on to the next part where you have to now verify your account. Now, when it comes to verifying your account, you do need to attach your ID document, and then they will do the whole verification. For when I was setting up a second account, they also did need a proof of residence, which are attached. And then another thing that I noticed, which was differently this time around, is that they said that in order for them to verify my identity, I need to deposit into the app. I don't know if that forms part of the new changes now or not, but before, when I did my profile, it was not part of that, but now I saw that it is. So that is how you create profile in both platforms. Now, EasyEquities, easy. Franc, just as easy. It's just that Franc, you have to be, it needs you to have an intention behind your investing. EasyEquities, anyone can create it and forget about it. Franc, the moment you create your platform, you put in all those details, they are already looking at how much of a drive do you have, what is your intention to creating this account, and what are your intentions towards your investment. Now, that is where, for me, the two apps start separating. The two apps start standing out on their own, and I can see clearly which one I would prefer, which one I wouldn't prefer, which one is made for who and which one is not made for who, So the next point is, how do you then invest in these platforms? So as I said, with EasyEquities, once you've created the profile and you've verified your account, and by the way, you can start investing before verifying your account. However, you can't withdraw on both apps. So once you've verified your accounts, let's just say you're going to do the right thing and verify your account. So how do you invest on this account? Firstly, with EasyEquities, you have to deposit money. Same thing with Franc, you have to deposit money. But what I love about both of them is that you can deposit for as little as 10 rands. You do not need to start with 100 rands. You don't need to have 1,000 rand, because traditionally there has been, when it comes to investing, you had to have like a sizable amount. So maybe it'll start from 1,000, sometimes it'll be 5,000, sometimes it'll be 10,000. So now with these platforms, you can literally start investing with as little as 10 rands. That is how easy they have made it for you to invest. So with both platforms, as I've just said, you don't need thousands and thousands in order for you to start investing. So that is the thing that I love about them. So on both apps, you have to deposit money into your profile using your references. Please remember, you have to use your references that are provided to you. Then you deposit money into them. Once you have deposited money, so this is where the difference comes in as well. So once you've deposited money in both of these apps, there are things that's going to happen. Firstly, with EasyEquities, your money is going to stay on your account up there. Like, it will just be, okay, this is how much money you have. So this is money that you have to now invest. So once the money is showing on your account, then you have to go and select shares yourself. Now, this can be very overwhelming to someone that knows nothing about shares, or that is not clued up about how to invest. And I remember when I started investing on EasyEquities, the things that I learned was, do not put all your money in one basket. So I know that people have this thing that they will notice certain shares doing better than the other. So they will notice that, okay, let's just say Capitec. Let's say Capitec or Nespa. Is it Nespa? If I'm butchering it, forgive me. So let's say Capitec is doing very well. People, because they are not clued up about shares and how the market works, and how do you win with shares when it comes to investing, they'll go and put in the money on the stock that is on a rise. And not that I'm a financial advisor, let me just put that disclaimer here. I'm not a financial advisor, I'm just Jennifer. So one of the things that I learned is, you do not put all your eggs in one basket. So instead of going and buying Capitec shares just because you see that it's on the rise, or you go and buy Coca-Cola shares because you see that it's on the rise, instead you look for bundles. So you will go for bundles, or you rather go for basket, because bundles, it's a cluster of it's a cluster of shares, it's a class of shares grouped together. Then what happens is when you put your 10 rands in there, it is splits based on the value of each share, based on how it was set up. The second part, with the second platform, which is Franc. Now this is why I love Franc. I'm just going to say it there. I love Franc. But as I said, I have both platforms, I have both apps, and I'm investing on both. I love Franc because what happens is, the moment that money hits your profile, so you will deposit it, it will take a few days, maybe a day or two, for the money to reflect on your account, and you will get an email and an SMS to say that they received your deposit. What then will happen is your money, without you doing anything, without you logging in, once you've seen that notice, for what I normally do is, once I see that notice on my, I'll get an SMS or the email to say that they've received my deposits, I just relax. Because what happens is, automatically, because initially you created a profile, remember, you create a profile and say, this is my risk appetite, this is what I want to invest in, this is how I want my money to be broken down, my investments to be broken down. So what happens is, when you put that 10 rands in there, it will be broken down based on how you created your profile. So you, maybe let's say you wanted a balanced one was more so like 50-50, or you wanted a safe one is more so more on money market and less on equities. So you decide how you want it to be broken down. So normally your money will be broken down into two, and then it will be invested towards these two things. And then you are able to track it on the app in terms of how each one is doing. I'm actually going to put a screen here of my portfolio, just to show you how you actually monitor, how you are able to see what is happening when it comes to your investments. Okay, so that is how you actually go about investing on two apps. Now the third part, which I think is very important, which one is made for who? So which one is EasyEquities made for? Which one is Franc app made for? Now, on what I've gathered and my years of using, because I've used EasyEquities for a very long time now, and I just started using Franc last year. And I can tell you clearly which one is for who, which one is for whom. So EasyEquities is for someone who's clued up about shares. That's the first thing. You have to be clued up about the JSE market. You have to be clued up about companies, how companies work, how companies are performing. You have to be clued up about that. There is financial chats with DISA. DISA, I think most of you guys may know, some of you guys may know it. DISA is clued up about shares. So she may not know it, she may not know every share, but she takes time in learning about each share, especially the ones that she wants to put in her money. I remember she did a video breaking down these shares for investing in the tech industry. She broke it down so simply. So you see, that's a person who is investing her time and energy learning about that market, learning about specific shares before she puts in her money into something. Trust and believe that she's going to learn about it. So that is Chats with DISA. And then there is Franc. Franc, you literally can be as clueless as you can when it comes to the JSE market and the shares, and it's not going to affect your investments. Actually, what I've found is, because you are not so much, there's not a lot of decision making that is put on your table when it comes to investing on Franc. I'm finding that it's much more easier to keep investing on Franc than on EasyEquities, because on EasyEquities you have to be clued up. You have to decide for yourself, what is the goal? What am I doing here? What am I trying to work towards? And what is my end goal? With Franc, yes, you have to have your end goal, but at the beginning, Everything that comes after that is automated. So who are these apps made for? The know-how and the don't care. However, the don't care still wants to be part of this investing journey, still wants to invest towards something and work towards something. However, I don't have to think about where my money goes. This one, you have to think about where you put in your money. So that is where they differ. So if you are that person that literally has no time and not clued up and doesn't have the energy to actually invest towards learning about equities, learning about the JSE market, and learning about shares and how they perform, then Franc is for you. If you are a person that basically says, you know what, I have all the time in the world to learn about the JSE market. I have all the time in the world to understand how the market is working and performing and how that is affecting my shares or my equities that I've invested in. Then EasyEquities is for you. So the two are different types of people. And you choose which one do you want to fall in more. For me, I'm invested in both, but more so on properties, on EasyEquities, and then on Franc, I'm actually invested more. The value of my money on Franc is way higher than this one, and it's going to keep going higher on Franc than this one because of what Franc did differently. That actually brings us to what are the features that I love about both apps. Firstly, EasyEquities, the only feature that I love about it is the easy properties, but I'm not so sure about it because it's just different. That section is just different, you know. It's just different. Let me just say, you just have to take time to learn about it and how it works. Try to understand it. And Financial Chats with Disa, she actually did a video on easy properties. You can go check it out. I'm going to try and leave her link down below. I like that I can invest on properties, but they just don't make it easy. That's all I'm going to say. It's just not easy. It's not the typical, you know, when you think of EasyEquities, you're thinking of easy. But when it comes to properties, it's just not easy. Okay, the second thing that I love on EasyEquities is the ability to invest on things like bundles. So what I love about bundles is that they are more so of a safer way to invest. So I love that about EasyEquities. And then let's take a look at Franc. What do I love about Franc? Firstly, I love everything about Franc. I'm just going to be honest. Am I biased? No, I don't think I'm biased. However, because I use Franc the most, and I think it is a simple and easy investing platform, and so I'm going to love it. To be honest, I just love it. So there are so many things that I love about Franc. I love that the moment you set up your account, they already want to know how intentional you are about the app, how intentional you are about this journey of investing, because they'll ask you, what is your goal? So you now have to think, what is my goal? What do I think that if I select as my goal, it's actually going to motivate me even more to keep investing, you know? And so for me, I chose an emergency fund because I didn't have an emergency fund. And that for me is a good enough goal that keeps me going every month, because I know that I have to have an emergency fund. Every person has to have an emergency fund. And so because I know my goal and I know my target, working towards that, I've found that has been easy. And I've adjusted my budget so well into that I don't even have to think about it. It is automated. Okay. And then there are other goals then. So you already have to be intentional, you know. So I love that about Franc. I love that when you create a profile, you decide your risk appetite and you decide which one are you comfortable with. And by the way, you can later on change this if you feel like, okay, I'm changing my mind, I wanna, change some things. You can actually change your goal, your goal. Not even your goal details, and so you choose there, you create your plan, you create and you say, okay, this is my risk appetite, and then you create your profile. I love that the whole part of creating your profile is very intentional and gathers everything they need to know about that person who's creating that account. That is one thing I love. The second thing that I love is that once my money clocks in there, I don't have to log into the app and think, where am I going to put my money? Because that I did initially once when I was creating my goal. And the month after that, it's just going to be automated. So that is the thing that I actually love the most about Franc, that you don't have to think about where your money must go. Now, I'm not the one that is not clued up about shares. I'm actually clued up about shares. I'm clued up about some of the shares that are in the JSE market. I'm clued up about most of these bundles like the Cetrix Top 40 and all this stuff. I'm clued up about those things, but I do not have the time to always be going every time when the money clocks in, to always be going and thinking, where am I going to put my money in now? I don't have the time for that. So that is why I'm saying I love this feature, that the moment my money clocks in, automatically it goes to the right places. And then what I have to do is just monitor it. I don't even have to do that most of the time. And then the last thing that I love, and I'm going to do a separate video about this. The last thing that I love about Franc is that you can now add your dependents on your main account. So as a mother, I have a daughter that is 5 years old, and I know that I have to invest for her future education, and I started investing for her future education when she turned 2. However, I just canceled that because now I'm going to be investing on Franc. As I said, I'm going to do a separate video about this, and I hope that is going to be valuable for you guys who are mothers out there, fathers as well. I found that to be very smart. It's a smart move from actually Franc, because I remember there was a time this last month when I wanted to create a profile for my daughter on EasyEquities, and I went through my profile, in and out on my profile, trying to figure out from my profile, how can I create an investing platform for my daughter as a dependent? Because I was really trying to move away this investing on these insurance companies for education policy. I really want to do it myself, and so I was looking on EasyEquities until I actually asked someone who actually has accounts for their children on EasyEquities how they did it, and they said no, you have to go back, as in like you just log off and create an account from there. Even though I know that it's not complicated, but that time I just didn't have. And so I watched this other video of this other lady. I've forgotten what's her name. She was in partnership with Franc, and she talked about this new part of investing under Franc, where they've added now a dependent. I went on the same night, guys. I created the account on the same night. By the end of that night, I already had an account created for my daughter. The only thing that was left a few days later was for me to verify her account. But what I love is that even the part of trying to verify is so easy, because as you are creating the account, you can literally take a picture of the certificate or the ID and actually attach it. You don't have to scan anything. You don't have to scan anything. You can take a picture and actually submit that. So they've made their system so seamless, and what I love is that they make it easy. They make it easy for people to actually invest. So that is what I love about Franc. So I think you guys can kind of get a very good clue which one do I prefer over, because that is the last point. Which one do I prefer over the other? I'm just going to be honest with you. I prefer Franc over EasyEquities, because Franc is easy, seamless, and I don't have to use my brain neurons. Is it neurons? Ne? I don't have to, exercise my brain. Not that there's something wrong with exercising your brain. Guys, there's nothing wrong with exercising your brain. But when it comes to investing, and if you're honestly working towards a goal, you don't want a lot of decision making on your table. You want it to be seamless, but at the same time, you're still hands-on. So even though it's still similar to, let's say, for instance, if you were to go to the bank and then they take your money and they invest it for you, It's slightly similar to that. However, the difference is you know where your money is going. That's the first thing. And secondly, you can monitor how your money is going, and you can actually make the changes on the other side if you feel that, okay, you're not happy with 1, 2, and 3. But with the banks, it's different. You go there, they say, okay, we're going to need you how much to start, how much you're going to pay. They set up a stop order for you. It goes every month. Until the day it matures, you literally know nothing about that. So with Franc it's still a DIY because you still have to do the work on the other side. But once you've done the initial work, it is set up for you and it is good to go. So if you are that person that says, I really want to invest, I really want to save and invest towards something, but I do not know anything about the JSE markets, I do not know anything about shares, how to choose shares, which one should I buy, which one should I avoid? Right now the market is crazy, so which one should you be going towards, which one should you be running away? You don't know all the stuff, then Franc is for you. But if you're a person that has all that energy and time to invest towards learning about all these things, which I still think that everyone, if you are investing, eventually you have to learn about those things, then EasyEquities is for you. So I am invested in both apps. I have money on EasyEquities, I have money on Franc, but there's more money on Franc, and then my money on Franc is going to keep growing because I have a stop order with Franc. So every month money goes out, it goes to Franc, and then it's broken down as soon as it hits my profile. With EasyEquities, I don't have a stop order because setting up such things on EasyEquities was never a priority. And so I invested. There was a time when I had a lot of money on EasyEquities, and there was a time when I withdraw most of it out, and I've never really went back fully on it. So since I discovered Franc, I realized that for me it is more so seamless, easy, and I don't have to make a lot of decisions when it comes to my money because I do all the decision making at the beginning. So that is the difference between the two apps. And to be honest with you, I like Franc over EasyEquities, but I know that there are people who like EasyEquities over Franc, and there is absolutely normal. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. But what I'm asking, the reason why I'm doing this video is because I wanted to tap into people that are not sure which one should they go for, not sure where to focus on, because sometimes when you are looking at these two platforms, they initially do the same thing, and sometimes if you're trying to spread yourself, you might find that you're spreading yourself too thin. And so rather find a strategy, choose one. You can have both accounts, but choose one that you're going to focus your energy towards. You're going to focus your money, most of your money towards, and just work on investing on that. Then if you are happy with that, then start learning about the other. I would say that if you have never invested before, you are not clued up about the market, start with Franc first, because Franc first gives you the foot in the door. At the same time, you are still investing, you are still saving, which is the most important thing. The thing here is you have to save, you have to invest. So that is my insights on both apps, and I've shared with you guys how both apps work, from creating an account, investing, and all that good stuff. I hope that you guys found value in this video and that is going to be helpful in your journey of investing. With that being said, I'm gonna close off this video right here with hopes that you guys enjoyed it and found value. If you did, please smash the button, please smash the like button, please, I will really appreciate that. Until I see you on the next one, please take care and stay safe. Bye.